No. Lately there's something that's missing. Empty bed doesn't feel empty hearts. Typical me reminiscing. A memory doesn't heal open scars. Late night drinking, wishful thinking. What if you were here? Morning and waking, heart still aching. Something about the way you make me feel. I don't wanna mess up your night. I don't wanna put up a fight. I don't wanna trouble you, babe, but I got to say, I don't wanna waste no more time trying to shake the feelings inside. Finally got made up my mind. Can't go one more day without you. Can't go one more day without you. No, can't go one more day. No, I can't. One more day without you. Can't go one more day. I can't go one more day without you.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back. A beautiful Monday morning. Today is August 30th, 2021. That's right, August 30th. Fall is fastly approaching. And as always, there's a lot to talk about. On today's show, among other things, I want to talk about the over-policing of Black people in America. There's two cases that recently happening surrounding DC police that had two completely different endings and really two completely different beginnings. And if you just kind of read the cover art there, it'll give you some insights as to what I want to start the show talking about. Also, I want to talk about over-policing in Cincinnati, Ohio. There is a video that's been circulating that appears to show about 14 police cars that showed up for what I, to this point, have been told is nothing more than a fight at a local high school. And I'm like, see, here we go. Let's talk about it. Plus, humans worse than COVID. And I'll catch you up to date on everything that has happened worth talking about over the weekend. It's the Nathan Ivey Show. Live, local, loaded, locked and ready to go this morning. If you want to transform your brain waves into usable talk radio waves, or should I say digital talk radio waves this morning, 513-873-7134. The show gets started in about 90 seconds. Don't go anywhere.
Yeah, talking to my mirror like I love you so much. Curving on my critics like I heard you, so what? You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. Tally all the I ever gave on my head. Lately I've been living like I can't take a loss. They ain't wanna help me, that's what made me a boss. You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. We don't give a that's what they don't understand. I'm back again like flu season. I broke records while loose leafing. I'm coming down my roof, leaving. Don't give a I don't care. Did the for my lonesome. No wonder now I'm on one. No shortcuts on that long run. All I really want is my share. Get on my God, on my told him it's nothing. In the discussion, for them feelings I throw all my pain on percussion. It's disgusting. I hear them bragging about that they did, and it do not move me, not in the least. They ain't been dropping no seeds in the soil, but swear that you almost spotted the feast. I've been on go mode, show mode, showboat, rowboat, wave ride. Cool shorty too naughty, pool party wet for the face ride. Annie up, penny down, hand me down, thrift store, old drip. New money too funny, old shorty talking about old. I'm on they now, can't get a pass now. I'm a cash cow, keeping it brash now. It's trash now, I'ma spaz out. I've been killing my lows and living on highs. You see in the skies the proof. You could just see in my eyes that there is no lies. I cannot disguise the truth. I've been duck dog getting in my new merch, colored duck sauce on the new couch with my chucks on. Get the on with that hate. I'm big cool on the small chat, cause I know now that I'm all that. Got a hawk guy on the ball cat, get the out of my face. Talking to my mirror like I love you so much. Curving on my critics like I heard you, so what? You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. Tally all the I ever gave on my head. Lately I've been living like I can't take a loss. They ain't wanna help me, that's what made me a boss. You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. We don't give a that's what they don't understand.
Good morning, everybody. Just want to give you some time to invite people to the show. On today's show, we're scheduled to get a phone call, if not Zoom call, from Alicia Reese, Hamilton County Commissioner. Why? Well, maybe we can get an update on where the information that she may have about SORTA and CPS. It seems like that's sort of working itself out. But in particular, for small minority and Black-owned businesses, Hamilton County is set to release some new money, some new funding, about $4.5, $5 million worth of funding. They'll be giving out $10,000 grants or awards, and she's going to give us the details. So if you know somebody that might impact or interest, then let them know about the show. Let them know about the show this morning. Let them know. Let them know. Good morning to you. The price of admission for these flows, these superlative flows, is free. All I ask is that you take a second and like it and particularly share it on Facebook. Other than that, it's all good. It's all good. The Cincinnati NAACP's forums are coming up, and the first forum is going to be September the 14th. That's a Tuesday, September the 14th. That's going to be the forum for the Cincinnati School Board, and I will be your moderator. It is scheduled to be in live. It's going to be live, and perhaps they will stream it and to Facebook. And if this is something that you're interested in, then I'll put the flyer out. Please check it out. I'll give you the whole schedule of events. Not everything is going to be in person. Some of it's going to be virtual, and some is going to be in person. But I want to make sure you know all about it. So that should be really, really interesting, coming up real soon. Anybody heard about the story of Antoine Gilmore? His crime was that he fell asleep in his car. In the video, you see it's like 5 officers. They approach the car while he's sleeping. Guns are drawn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 officers. Now, mind you, the man is sleeping. And when he wakes up, they're screaming at him, "Don't move, don't move, don't move." He lurches forward in the car. Now, mind you, in the video, none of the Metropolitan Washington, D.C. police officers are in front of the car, so none of them are necessarily in harm's way. He lurches forward, and then the car, he must have hit the accelerator, the car just zooms forward. And they're just opening fire. They are just opening fire. I got the video for you. It is extreme. It's extreme, but I got to play it for you so you know what happened. And a lot of people are comparing what happened to Antoine Gilmore and the treatment that he got, and then comparing it to the treatment of Floyd Ray Roseberry, white male who basically was in an hours-long standoff with DC police because he claimed to have a bomb in his pickup truck. He was peacefully arrested and is now comfortably in custody. And people are like, wait a minute. On one hand, this brother just sleep. Why is it that a sleeping Black man in a car is such a threat? Well, he might wake up with a gun in his hand, right? I mean, that's what the police, from what I gather to this point, are alleging, that his hands were moving and things like that. So basically, could you imagine being sleep? Like, how many people when you wake up, if you are awoken or awaken violently or very suddenly, don't you kind of jar yourself? Oh, you might shake a little bit and you wake up, you kind of groggy. It's like they couldn't even give him the chance to fully wake up before they realized or thought that he's got to be a threat, because when a black man is asleep, sleeping while black, that's a damn threat. The DC police, it was like, I'm not sure how many officers opened fire, but there were 6 officers around the car. They fired 10 rounds into him. And when I showed this video to your family, it was so unnecessary. The man was not a threat to them at all. And even if he had a gun, so what? Let the man drive off. You got his license plate. You'll catch him within 24 hours. He'll be in custody. But that's not enough for some people. Wash the hands, wash it. See, my thing for police, if you're going to be that scary, if you're going to be so scary that you shoot a man who is asleep because you're afraid that you don't know what's in his hands, then don't approach the car. You know what I'm saying? Don't approach the car then. But how are you going to approach the car and then claim that somehow your life was in jeopardy? It's like, no, wait a minute. Your life was never in jeopardy. Y'all ready for this? It is extreme because you just know the circumstances. Okay, I want to play this for you. You could check it out for yourself. Good morning to you. It's crazy, man. It's wild, the world that we live in. Black while sleeping. Black while sleeping. So check this out. This is body cam footage, so it's in the public domain. Check this out.
He ain't waking up. Don't move! Don't move! Don't move! Watch your hands! Watch your hands! Please, don't move!
Now, watch it again. Watch it again.
He ain't waking up. Don't move! Don't move! Don't move! Watch your hands! Watch your hands! Please, don't move!
Now tell me, which one of those officers' lives was in jeopardy? I mean, whatever happened to good old-fashioned common damn sense? The man is sleeping. You jar him awake. People screaming commands at him. Don't move, don't move. Raise your hands, raise your hands. Don't do this, stand up. Tell us a joke. You know, they're getting all these commands. That should have confused anybody. You like, I don't know, one person telling me this, the other person telling me that. You got guns on me. That'll scare the hell out of anybody. The car lurches forward. They open shots. Then he takes off. I'll take off too, because y'all shooting right here. So let me see if I can get away from you, and then we can work this all out. But it's amazing to me that a black man asleep is more of a threat to the DC police than a white man who's awake in a pickup truck claiming to have a bomb. But that's the world that we live in. Good morning. Welcome to the new America, where if you're black while sleeping, you're more of a threat than a white man who claims to have a bomb in his pickup truck. So he gets peacefully arrested. Come on, Ray. You don't want to do this, Ray. Come on, Ray. Come on, Floyd Ray Roseberry. You don't want to do this. They talk him down peacefully. With the young brother, they got to take him out the game because my life is in jeopardy. The hell? What in all of the hell? And does anybody know what happened over at Hughes High School? I'd like to know. What happened over at Hughes High School? Because I seen this video, not a video, but I seen an image of what appears to be police at Hughes High School. Let me see if I put this image up here. Somebody posted this online. Tell me if you know what happened at Hughes High School. I read online that it was a fight, and then this was the sign outside. Look at all those police officers. Do you really need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 police? So you telling me there's no other crime going on in Coreyville right now? It takes 14 units to respond to a fight at a high school? They didn't have 14 units at Columbine initially to show up. And that was an active shooter. Again, I don't know. I'm just saying. I don't really know. Maybe they did. Could have been more than that. Anybody know what happened in Hughes High School? I mean, I'm just so curious. Anybody got a connection over there to know what really went down? Is this true? Is this photoshopped? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 units show up for a fight. So I can see one unit showing up. But what are the other 13, 12 officers going to do? Stand around? What the hell? That is crazy right here. Y'all see that? Is that real? Anybody know? You tell me. 513-873-7134. Cass writes, or she says, they clearly said he ain't waking up. Why were the guns drawn on somebody sleeping? Was he dreaming about shooting someone? I guess he must have been dreaming about shooting somebody. And then they found out using, I don't know what happened. And then they decided to show up. But see, what it is from an officer standpoint, I'm wondering if they're afraid as they approach the car. They don't know what's going on. So they're approaching the car like, well, he could have a gun at any moment, which, I mean, he could, but there's 6 of y'all. Everybody want to get the accolades for being a hero and wearing a uniform, but when it comes time to do the dangerous shit, they want to react. They want to proactively react to it. And I get it. Sometimes you can react too late and that's your ass. I get it. But Ashley writes, it happened at Taft and Norwood High Schools too last week. What? The rollers showed up? Yo, check it. I hope that school SROs, I hope that principals, administrators, and teachers and counselors and all the people that work in CPS realize that this is not a normal year. I know everybody wants to run back and get back to normal, but this is not a normal year. Last year was effed up completely. COVID is still a real thing. You got some people, even though the world is going back, people getting vaccinated, you got a lot of people that's still like on that lockdown mode. They're not really going out. They really still got an issue with COVID. COVID is still a real thing. Okay? You got teachers, administrators, counselors, all the principals that work in a school. I hope that as they make decisions and deal with what appears to be behavior issues, that they've got that in mind. And even for the teachers, I hope that the teachers understand that last year was completely different. And so, to me, you can't approach this year as if last year was normal. From an academic standpoint, from a behavioral standpoint, from an everything standpoint. Now, everybody cared. I heard these school board members saying the dumbest imaginable. Oh, social emotional well-being. Social emotional well-being. The best place for the children is in the schools. Well, now the babies are back in the school. Don't abuse them. Now the children that y'all care so much about, we just got to have the kids in the school because we can love on them and give them all the resources. Now they're back. Don't abuse them. Remember all that shit. It's supposed to be a positive experience all the way around. Don't forget that. This is not a normal year because last year wasn't normal. Last year was completely interrupted. It was completely different. And everybody worrying about the adults. We need to be worrying about the students and how they processed it, what they need this year. But I don't know. I've heard some conversations, seen a few things with our own experience. Seems like some of these folks act like last year didn't happen because everybody's trying to get back to normal. We ain't back to normal yet. We're not back to normal yet. It's going to take maybe another year or two before we get back to normal. It is what this was the job you signed up for. Oh, the babies. Oh, we want the students to be back in the schools. Oh, we want to be back in the schools because they got to get the services. They got to get the services, health and mental health and well. Now they're back. Don't abuse them. Remember all that you was talking. Keep that same energy. Keep that. You want them back so bad so you can love on them, make sure they go okay. Some kids are in bad homes. Okay. But when I see this, I'm like, somebody should explain this. Like, if this is real, This is a problem for taxpayers. As a taxpayer, I don't want 14 police units to show up for a freaking fight at Hughes High School. See, this goes to show you we got too many police officers. We got way too many police officers when 14 units show up for a fight at Hughes High School. That's the kind of response that I would expect from an active shooter. A fight? One fight at a high school? Wow. Really? You mean they got into a fight in high school? I've never heard of such a thing. Somebody should explain that in terms of how is that a respectful way to spend our tax dollars? We paying for this ish. There's no crimes in Coreyville. Meanwhile, University of Cincinnati students subject to getting knocked out and their book bag stolen right across the damn street. But yeah, we need more officers. For what? Yeah, we need more police officers. Sure we don't. That's hard. That's a hard pill. That's a hard for me to sell for me. We need more police officers. We don't have enough. We lose them to attrition and retirement and all the other things. We need more. That right there shows you got plenty. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 14 cars. 14 cars. Wait a minute. What's that in the middle there? Okay, I'm in error. That's 13 cars. That's some kind of vehicle right there. That's not even a police vehicle. So 13. And that's just what's in the shot. I don't know if there were more officers that showed up beforehand or later or just out of the screen there, but absolutely ridiculous waste of taxpayer dollars. Like I said, man, everybody bellyaches about taxpayer dollars unless we're talking about the over-policing of black folks. Then we can't spend enough money for that. In certain neighborhoods, we can't spend enough money for that. But that's just me. What do you think? 513-873-7134. Charles writes, I thought y'all knew. They only love black babies. As they grow up, not so much, and treat them accordingly on how they view black people. Absolutely. You're right about that. Cincinnati loves black infants. Cincinnati loves little toddlers. Oh, we love little black and brown, little melanated, cherubic faces, little cute little faces. We love you. Become a teenager, we can't fucking stand you. We don't want to see you. We don't want to hear from you. We don't like you, right? Unless you were just like, on the way to Olympic glory and could somehow make Cincinnati look good, then we just love you. Yeah. Carmelita writes, I see you rocking your Good Company shirt. I grew up with Donnie Harper, great guy. I never met the brother, man. I hope to meet him real soon. But yeah, man, I'm all about them local black-owned brands. Listen, send me a t-shirt, extra large. I'm very proud to say extra large now. Yeah, no more 2X's for me. No more 3X's for me, dog. Hit me with that extra large, and I'll rock it. For you. Absolutely. Fame writes, the picture is Photoshop. Officers responding to an emergency don't park so neatly. Because it wasn't an emergency. I don't know. If this is Photoshop, then disregard the previous flow. All right, just go ahead and disregard it. Good morning to you. 513-873-7134. I got some more viral videos for you this morning. But before we get to that, we got to talk about what's happening at the city of Cincinnati. There might be some movement on this morning. But as I'm reading, Cincinnati city officials say they are in the process of developing a policy as it relates to COVID-19. Get this, due to the rise in cases in the city. I'm just smiling to stop and fucking laughing. You know what I mean? I mean, from crying. Yeah, I got to keep that smile on my face. Humans worse than COVID. So now city leadership is crafting and developing a policy on how we're going to do with the fact that COVID is winning. Recommendations are as follows. The best protection is to get vaccinated, so we can keep pushing that. Stay home if you're sick. Everyone, including the fully vaccinated, wear a mask in public indoor settings. Unvaccinated employees should be tested weekly. Make the rapid Binax test kits available for employees to take the test and share results with their supervisors. If a positive PCR will be required to confirm positivity, I don't know what that means. Vaccinated employees upload their vaccine care to the city portal. Inquire about seasonal vaccinations with your primary caregiver. Uh, all employees are recommended to wear masks in shared spaces, regardless of their vaccination status. Socially distance 6 feet or more in workplaces at all times. Stop right there. They're not doing that in the schools. I wouldn't be surprised if they changed that to be more in line. They might say 3 feet just for the heck of it. But one of the recommendations from the city of Cincinnati is that we should be socially distanced 6 feet or more. I immediately thought they're not doing that in the schools. In an effort to push our kids back to the schools, they reduced it and said, look, we're cool with 3 feet. Meanwhile, I've gotten 2 letters, emails from my daughter's school saying that she might have come in contact with somebody who had COVID. Where's the consistency? How can we have 3 feet social distancing in the schools, but then 6 feet in the city? That don't make no damn sense. But we in Cincinnati, and a lot of stuff don't make sense. Welcome to it. Limit unnecessary in-person meetings. Employees who carpool, regardless of their vaccination status, should wear a mask. Ensure proper maintenance of ventilation systems. Daily disinfection of high-touch surfaces. Report all COVID-19 positive employees to the health department. Limit unnecessary travel to areas of high transmission, which would be everywhere you might go. Those I just read to you the bullet points as it's been reported from Fox 19 this morning as to what are recommendations being considered and is being sent out. This is going to be the policy for all city departments. This is for the city of Cincinnati. So the policy for the city is going to be different, at least in social distancing, than the policy for the schools. But yeah, we value our kids. Okay. Gotcha. Loud and clear. I'll say it again, folks. We are living in the last days of common sense, which precede the last biblical days. Okay. The apocalypse is happening right now. It's an apocalypse of common sense. It's gone. It's gone. It is what it is. We are where we are. Good morning to you. Izzy, okay, great. That's great. TNT writes, people are not wearing masks. Happy to see a lot of black people wearing masks, but in our poorer communities, we are not, and they definitely not wearing masks in the club. Absolutely. Tamika writes, that's because it's spreading like wildfire. 10 positive cases in one department alone. Yep. Yeah. You know why? Because humans don't care about COVID. Humans care about eating and drinking and dating and relating and being social. That's what humans care about. We value that way more. I work too hard to be sitting in the house. The other thing is that a lot of humans, and I'm speaking generally speaking, are weak. Humans are weak, meaning that we can't even stay in our own house for more than 3 months without going stir crazy. Insane in the membrane, right? People losing their brains because you got to stay in your own house. It's your home. It's all your stuff is there. Your TV is there. Your couch is there. That's your house. Driving people crazy. We ain't ready for it. We are not ready for it. Shannon writes, aren't a lot of these things being practiced? We should be doing anyway. Allegedly. Allegedly they are. But in reality, not so much. Listen, you go on Instagram and go to some of the Instagram pages for some of the local eateries and bars. Ain't nothing changed. People is having a good time. And if you look at the videos and the images, a lot of people are not wearing masks because they want to get out. They want to date. They want to mate. They want to relate. They want to do all this kind of stuff. So I get it. I'm with you 100%. But damn, yo. Now, again, the recommendations will apply to city employees. Right? These are Health Commissioner Moore's recommendations. I got to catch up with the Health Commissioner again. They're going to be implemented over the next few days. And see, what I don't understand is how is it that the city of Cincinnati, city employees are going to be socially distanced by 6 feet, but the Cincinnati public schools is only going to be distanced by 3 feet. That don't make no damn sense, but we know what it is. Like I said, get them back to school at any cost. Yeah, some people get sick. We hope people don't die, but get them back to school. Get them back to school, any cost, get them back to school. It's the only thing to care about. It is what it is. Regina writes, good morning. Maurice is in the house. He writes, white folks don't wear masks either. Are they exempt? I'm talking about all the folks, the white folk. I'm talking about Cincinnatians, period. Nat writes, good Monday, choppers. Good morning to
you. Get to the chopper!
Yeah. Now, if you're just checking out the show, let me give you that cover art again because you might have missed it. Here's today's cover art. We're kicking off the show talking about the over-policing of black people using these two cases. Antoine Gilmore, who was recently killed by DC police. What did he do? What was his crime? Oh, okay. All right, let me send that to you right now. What did he do? What did he do? He fell asleep in his car. That was his crime. Like, really. Antoine Gilmore fell asleep in his car, and 6 DC police officers with guns drawn came upon him while he was sleeping, and they woke the brother up. He jolted, as anybody would, and they shot and killed him. Shot him 10 times. That's on the left-hand box of the cover art. Now, on the right-hand box is Floyd Ray Roseberry. You might have heard about this guy. He is the white male who shut down D.C. for a little bit because he was in his pickup truck, as you can see there, and he claimed to have a bomb in his pickup truck. He was engaged in a standoff with police for hours, and guess what? He was peacefully arrested and now is comfortably in police custody. What in the hell? So a black man that's asleep is more of a threat than a white man who says he's got a bomb in his truck? What am I missing? And I played that video for you, yo. If you missed it, I'm gonna play it for you real quick. This is within the public domain because it's police body cam. Check out this body cam footage and tell me what this brother did wrong. Or, I mean, people say, well, he shouldn't have drove forward, but he's not driving over police officers. There's 6 officers. Check this out.
He ain't waking up. Don't move. Don't move. Don't move. Watch your hands. Watch your hands. Please, don't move.
Now, the officer that's shooting as he's all the way drove, he's like a good 25 feet away from him. That man needs to explain what the threat is. Tell me what the threat was. You wake this man up, the car lurches forward. He's looking around like, what in the hell? He don't know who these people are. Y'all could be cops. Y'all could be sex traffickers. You don't know who these people are. He drives for a little bit more. Boom, boom, boom. Point blank range right there from the driver's side. Dude shoots him. As I understand it, his body was shot with 10 rounds. 10 rounds, ladies and gentlemen, 10 rounds for sleeping in a car. For waking up startled. It's a damn shame. It's a damn shame. 513-873-7134. Let me get your thoughts on it. Then also, I'm looking for some insight as to what happened over in Hughes High School because this image is circulating. I'd like to know, is this photoshopped? Is this really what happened? I believe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Wait a minute. Let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So 13 units show up because there was a fight at Hughes High School. "13 units show up because there's a fight at Hughes High School." Who was fighting? Shang-Chi and Apocalypse? I mean, who was fighting? Was it Thanos and the Marvel superheroes? Like, was it the Hulk And Sabretooth, like who exactly was fighting there with 13 officers? And again, some of these officers could have some of these units could have transported 2 officers at a time. But yet they tell us that we don't have enough police in Cincinnati. I don't believe it. We got plenty of police. We got so many police that we got way more that show up than really necessary. But maybe they got a bomb threat or something like that. So they need a police to help everybody evacuate. Again, I fully admit I do not have all of the story and I'm searching for it. Maybe you can help me this morning. I don't know. Frene writes, there's a similar image at TAF. I don't think it's Photoshop. Crystal writes, Black lives don't matter to police officers, not even seen as human. So a black man that's asleep is more of a threat than a white man that's awake saying he's got a bomb in his pickup truck. Okay. Maybe it's the type of scenario. Okay, let me play the other side of it. Maybe approaching somebody in a car is more dangerous than dealing with somebody that says they have a pipe bomb and now you've barricaded yourself at a safe distance or something like that. Maybe that's what it is. Terry writes, that's a crime committed by the overseers. Glenn writes, why are people worried about what white folks are doing? Make sure you protect you and don't worry about them. Case closed. You tell me. You tell me. COVID, polio, it will be eradicated soon. If it's even real, we should eradicate it now, but our best scientists are being asked to perform sex changes on children. I digress. So our best scientists are performing sex change operations on children. I don't think that's true. Okay. Maurice writes, it's crazy how they say microban can kill the coronavirus. What's microban? I don't even know what the hell that is. TNT writes, 3 feet with a variant more contagious and deadlier than we had in last year. Stupid is as stupid does. Well, the only thing I can come up with is that, and I'm going to keep saying this, is that Cincinnati Public School parents and children are going to remain one of the most disrespected demographics in Cincinnati until they coalesce and create something that's political, right? That creates something that can have a real influence, and then you make CPS do exactly what you want them to do. That's the only way it's ever going to happen. Until then, you'll just have different silos. You'll have a group here at a school, and they might posse up and get their interests taken care of. You have a group here, you have a group here. But these people in CPS are very, very shrewd. They're very, very shrewd. They're very smart. And they know how to play the game. And they know how to kill the momentum for things like that. They're very good at that. They're very good at, like, let's say you get a group of parents at a school that's got an issue, right? What the administrators will do is they'll pick 1 or 2 of them and give them like a fake little leadership position. Like, I've seen this happen in my daughter's school where parents are outraged and it looks like it's going to be a big thing. Principal will slide over to 1 or 2 of the parents that's got the most outrageous sort of issue they're dealing with, and we're going to make you a leader. I want you to be the leader of the parent group. So what does that do to that parent? Well, now that parent's issues are getting taken care of, and now they feel like they got an in. So they're going to be much more likely to work, with the administration because their issues being taken care of. And depending on the dynamics of it, it can completely deflate whatever the momentum is. These people are very, very shrewd. I've seen it with my own eyes. They know how the game is played. And that's how things don't ever get too big. Because at the end of the day, people are self-interested. They're self-motivated. They care about their kid, right? They care about their issue. And if CPS, administration, whatever, put them to the side, hey, listen, I'm going to take care of this. They're going to roll with that. They're going to roll with that and be like, you know what? Later, for what we were talking about, my issues being taken care of. And that's all that people really care about. And I'm not trying to say anything negative about people because you have to worry about your children and I have to worry about my children. But that's the reason why you never really see anything get really, really big. That's like system-wide with CPS. That's because people understand how the game is played. They know how to quell these kind of things and put a towel or put water on the fire. They're very good at this. They've been doing this for a long time. But it's going to continue to happen. CPS students and parents are going to remain the most one of the most disrespected demographics in Cincinnati until they do something about it. It's really not on them. It's really on us. It really is. You know, we be talking about, oh, the superintendent needs to do this. No, I want them to do this, a school board. But damn all of them, if we posse up enough and put up enough pressure with intelligent demands, then pressure busts pipes and creates diamonds. But we don't really have the will to do that. And then you have these different silos, right? Like, you know, it's hard. To this point, it has yet to be done. There was some talk about it, but it just was talk. You know what I'm saying? Let me see. Ronald Lackey writes, good morning, Choppers. Good morning to you, Ron. Good morning to you. How we looking? How we sounding? Can you hear and see me good? Just give me a thumbs up. We good? We Gucci? All right. So I just sent the Zoom information to Alicia Reese. She should be giving us a Zoom here in just a little bit. And she's going to talk about some new money that's going to be released to the public for minority and Black-owned businesses. So if you own a minority or you are a minority, a Black-owned business, okay. All right, so I'm getting some information here. I'll read to you in a second. I'm glad because I want to understand here. But as I was saying, Alicia Reese is going to call in or Zoom in. Zoom. She's going to Zoom in and give us an update on some new money that's soon to be released and how you can get it for your business. Okay, so I'm receiving a message here from an anonymous source. Referring to Hughes, several fights broke out at one time. The SRO asked for a car initially. When the dispatcher tries to raise him to check on him, he didn't answer because it was so loud. Plus, he was actively trying to break up one of the fights. The dispatcher sent additional cars because the officer was unable to answer his status check. Okay. So let me process this. Okay, so the reason why there's so many officers here is because the dispatcher sent them out because they lost contact with the SRO. So they must have felt like the SRO's life was in danger. Several fights broke out. Okay, several fights. Okay. That gives me some insight. Let me marinate on that just a little bit. But that's the information I was just given. Okay, about Hughes High School. How's that sit with you? Let me work on a little bit here in my own head, and then I'll give you some thoughts here in just a couple of minutes. But that's the information I got about this. So this is actually real. The reason why there's so many officers that responded is because the dispatcher called additional officers. That's a lot of additional officers right there. I still stand by what I said. I mean, so many officers for, even if it was several fights, that ain't the first time several fights have jumped out. They lost contact with the SRO. Listen, if that's what their training is and that's what they're supposed to do, that's what they're supposed to do. I still feel some kind of way about it. But let me think about it just for a bit, and I'll give you some flows on it. David writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Good morning to you, David. Good to see you. Daryl's in the house. He writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. How was my weekend? My weekend was great. I got it in every single day, super hard every single day. It's so hot right now. I love it. Look at my skin right here. You know why my skin look like that? Because I'm sweating every day. You know, it's healthy skin. So I love it. I love working out when it's super hot and muggy because it just brings the best out of me. And had a great weekend. Great weekend with the fam. The wife and I spent a little time together, yada, 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 the whole 9 yards. And, everything is good. Everything is good. Working on some new projects with CDM. So I started over the weekend. I'm going to be looking for models, people who might want to be involved with some future projects. So you'll probably see some of those ads going out from our Facebook page. I'm going to pay to promote them as well. So if you know someone, please encourage them to be a part of it. Just, again, some more creative ideas that I really want to put out there. I love what I'm doing right here. I love what we're doing with CDM. I love it. I want to place it in some different ways, and I want to do more. So look for that this week. Deshona writes, just don't make sense. Hold on, I think I got another message here. Follow up. Okay. Appreciate that. Appreciate the heads up. Again, I'm searching for understanding. So this comes from a very credible source. We'll say anonymous source. It's a source that I believe. So again, that's the information we got about Hughes High School. How's that sit with you, Choppers? Chop that up for me and tell me what you think. Are you like, okay, well, that makes sense? Or are you like, still there's something that just don't sit right, Nate? Whatever it might be, I just want to have a conversation with you. Terry writes, well, did CPD replace those bad radios they had from Motorola that just left them hearing static? Did they respond similar in those instances? I don't know. Brian writes, I was in D.C. this weekend for the most important action there, organized by families and their supporters impacted by police action or police murder. Oh, you was in D.C. over the weekend, huh? Okay. Glenn writes, say it, Nate, intelligent demands. Imagine that. Yeah, imagine that. Kendall writes, wow, for high school kids. Sarah writes, they over-police our neighborhoods, period, and you know it. SRO's life in danger and he has a gun? Pardon me. Maurice writes, people make all these excuses as to what's going on toward us. They are trying to kill our babies. Listen to what Nate is saying. He's making an excellent point. They want our children to be close to each other, but 6 feet distances elsewhere. Really? Well, again, this is for city employees. The recommendations coming out because of the uptick in COVID. And the Bengals had a preseason game. Man, you got all kind of artists coming in town and events. And people have been shut in for so long that they want to get out and have some fun. They want to get out and have some fun. I was also told that there were, more information coming in. I was told that there were no arrests in that scenario. No arrests. So I don't know if that makes it better or worse. It makes it better in the sense that we don't want to see juveniles in the system. I'm happy about that. But it's like, if there are no arrests, meaning that no crimes were committed, do we really need police to respond to this kind of stuff that's in the schools? I'm just going back to this conversation people had about SROs. I don't think we've gotten to the bottom of it. And I'll be honest with you, I'm on the fence about it. I can see both sides of the argument. I can see it. And I think that it really comes down, for me, if we're going to be real about it, I think that it really should come. I think that the students should have a heavy input, school by school by school, as to who administers the discipline. I mean, that would be novel. I'm not saying the students should make 100% the decision, but that student input, the family input should be a part of the equation before school systems or individual schools decide to use police officers in the schools. I think that would be fair because I'm on the fence. Now, having seen SROs and work with SROs in the school, I can see the resourcefulness of it, and I've seen an SRO do that job with compassion and understanding and love. On the other side, when I hear these arguments, and I've heard these arguments from the young, activist coalition and the ACLU and things like that, what they're saying makes sense to me as well. So it's like, kind of torn. Good morning to you. Carmelita writes, did you make it to the Withrow Walnut game? No, I did not. I bought a ticket, but when I got there, I was a kid. The game canceled. Came home and saw Withrow win. I was so upset. It was later explained that they changed their mind. I did not go. I decided not to go for a lot of reasons. One of the reasons was the weather. I didn't want to sit in the rain. But the biggest reason was I just spent some time with my son. So my daughter was at the game doing her thing with some friends and a family member. The wifey was doing her thing. She was out of town for a little bit. And so it was me and Junior on Friday, and we just kicked it. It was daddy son time. And we went to the park and did all that kind of good stuff and just kind of hung out. And so I didn't go. Then I was glad I made the decision because it started raining. So I was like, I'm cool. I was not happy with the outcome. Props to Withrow. Y'all did y'all thing. But, I'm repping Walnut because that's where my daughter goes. I'm not against anybody, but I wasn't happy to see that. But good for Withrow. Y'all doing y'all thing this year. Got a good team. Good for you. Glenn writes, 14 police cars seem like overkill. Yeah, it's even with the explanation, it seems like overkill. 14? But again, once the dispatch puts the word out, I'm not sure how much control they have. I don't know how that works. So dispatch says, "Hey, listen, we have an officer we're not in contact with over Hughes High School. We need officers in the area to respond." I I don't know if they say, "Hey, we only need 5. We only need 6," or do officers near the area who hear it just respond? And so they have no control over it after that. That would explain it on some levels, but I still am with you, Glenn. That seems a bit much. We seems a bit much. Brian writes, "We don't need SROs. My proposal that is not polished is to hire and train real community members as a people's guard to function like marshals. Pay them union scale wages and restore self-worth to a whole layer of people who are unemployed. All the vetting, all the psychological testing, but people kids grow up with and respect." I see the pros and the cons. One pro that jumps out to me with your idea, Brian, is that they're not police officers. I think when a police officer is in the room, that police officer brings the history of the police force with them. And everything that goes with it, you know what I'm saying, comes with that uniform when they walk in there. That's one con. The pro is that when it's a Cincinnati police officer, Cincinnati police officers have to abide by the collaborative. That gives the public some protection and recourse. Okay. The other thing is that when it's a police officer, you get all of that training. And I'm not even talking about gun training. I'm talking about all of the training that officers get in terms of how to deal with people, how to manage situations. All of that comes with them that can be brought to the situation. I think that's a pro. I think that's a pro. So I like the idea of, let's say it was the fruit of Islam. What if the fruit of Islam took over SRO duties from the Cincinnati Police Department? What do you think would happen? What do you think would happen? Again, I'm just spitballing here just for the point of it, but what if there was brothers in bow ties, right, in every school in Cincinnati public schools? I mean, these brothers, man, they be doing securities for some of the biggest stars in the world. So you can't say they can't handle security. You can't say they can't handle different situations. I'm not saying this would ever happen. It would never happen. But I'm just saying hypothetically, for the sake of conversation, I mean, this is your morning destination for interesting conversation. So let's do what if. The Fruit of Islam, they do security for the Nation of Islam. They do security for all kinds of folks all over the world, celebrities, all kind of stuff. Would those brothers bring what if Brother Muzone in them? Brother Muzone from The Wire? You know, minus the Beretta. What if they were doing security in our schools? Would there be a difference? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with the SRO thing. Something tells me nothing. Something tells me that nothing's going to happen, but because Cincinnati is in love with police. We love the idea of got a problem, throw police at it. We love that. And it's just so ingrained in the psyche of so many people here that I don't really see it changing. Good morning, Rosemary. Good to see you. She writes, "I recently learned that there are so few police that there are many times one officer per car. So I'm glad they didn't show up in SWAT gear and there were no arrests." Okay. Good to see you. Jared writes, "I think part of the issue is the quality of guns in Cincinnati right now. You never know when a teenager will have one." Well, I mean, that's the case. You never know when anyone's going to have a gun, not just a teenager. Like you walk past somebody, you know, at the mall. You don't know if they got a gun or not. Sarah writes, "All those cops can't be in that area." Queen writes, "We have a lot of disrespectful teenagers, especially down here in City West, and the parents too. So I can imagine this at the schools, they overshadow the good. You show me a disrespectful teenager, and 9 times out of 10, you go back home to their mama and their daddy, to their home life, and that's where the problem is. Either they learn to be disrespectful to their mama and daddy, or they don't respect their mother and father. And so if I don't respect my mother and father, why should I respect this mofo at the school? That's what I think. I don't know. What would happen if the FOI took over? I don't know. You have to tell me. I'm just throwing it out there. If the FOI took over for the SROs, one of the goofy parents would swear they were trying to convert to Islam. You are absolutely right about that, Charles. That is exactly what would happen. Oh, they trying to convert my kids. I don't want my kids around this critical race theory. The moment one of them brothers try to kick some education to them, dropping science, some real science, not that BS drop he talking about. You're right, man. A parent would shoot it straight to the school board. Straight to the school board. I just don't feel like this is an appropriate place. And they follow Farrakhan. It's kind of goofy-ish. Queen writes, I'm all for something different. Fruit of Islam, as long as the trifling parents don't try to sleep with them. Huh? Iris writes, maybe we show up at the schools. Well, what a novel idea. Oh, man. Danita writes, good morning. School SROs don't do security. CPS personnel do security. Security is a department of CPS. Huh? Really? What? What? I'm sure you're right, but if the SROs aren't doing security and aren't dealing with security issues, then I don't know what they're doing. I've seen SROs be used as security and deal with security issues with my own eyes. Maybe something's changed since I was working in the CPS building, but fights, bullying, all that kind of stuff. The SROs can be involved and have been involved and will be involved in all of that. All of that. Trying to think, when I worked, was there security other than the SROs? I'm trying to think. Yeah, there was an older gentleman that did some security he worked for CPS, he did some security, but whenever there was a real issue, he always called the SRO. But you're right about that. If I remember correctly, there was an older gentleman, his name was Mr. Rowland, and he did security, but he was in no position to really do security at all. The only thing he was securing was nothing. He was more of like an emotional guy. He would get cool with the kids, and if there were some issues that weren't too big of an issue, he could do this to do that. He might drive a kid home that couldn't get home, something like that. But when the real security issues happen, they call it SRO, in my opinion, in my experience, Danita. But I hear what you're saying. Jack writes, SRO never chased me when skipping. Okay. Nathan, it's my SRO at Woodward was Dave Hamler. Okay, Dave Hamler. Nathan, it's always has been security in CPS. Yeah, I think you're right about that. All right, no further ado, we have Alicia Reese backstage. I could see her. She just stepped away for a second, and now she's coming back. She might have said, hold on for a second. She popped in, and I can't hear her. So just so you know, when you're backstage, I can't hear you until I hit that little button and bring you on. But we'll talk with Alicia Reese in just a couple of minutes. And there's some new money that's soon to be, money is soon to be released from the county for minority, Black-owned businesses in general here. And we're going to talk about it right here, right now, so you know about it and you can get a heads up. If you know somebody that's an entrepreneur or business owner, tag them in this and let them know that this might be some information they can use. Hey, Alicia, you ready? Just give me a thumbs up if you're ready. She's ready. Okay, so let's bring Alicia Reese on, everybody, and say good morning. Hey, Alicia, good morning.
Hey, good morning. I'm sorry. It's so dreary out there. I was trying to get my lighting together, but I don't know. It's the best I can do right now.
It's all good. It's all good. Good morning, Indian. Thank you for your time.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. Just wanted to give some updates. I would say that this will be, I guess, kind of like my midterm first year report. A couple things. You mentioned small businesses, so we're gonna start with that. The last time I was on your show, we talked about asking for a report on the numbers in the county on the issue of equity and inclusion, and we had gotten some fourth quarter numbers that showed we do the upkeep on the banks, just on the banks. If we take that category, on the banks, we had spent in the fourth quarter alone to upkeep the 2 stadiums that we own of $16 million. And the minority number was minority spend of all minorities, not just African Americans, all minorities except for women. We had spent only $1,400. I couldn't believe it. I mean, my jaw just dropped. Like, are you kidding me? And on women-owned businesses, it was zero. There were other categories like communications. We had spent $500,000 on communications. And the minority spend on there was $30,000. Women-owned businesses, zero. I said, oh, wait a minute now. We've got to do better. And so the response at that time was, well, Commissioner Reese, we were doing, one of my colleagues, like, well, we're doing better than we was, before. And I said, well, 0 to 1% is not an improvement. There were some things that I had asked, some things that could be done right away. And I'm still pressing those things because a couple of things. Before I got there, they had voted to have a Croson study. So when I got there, I thought, wow, the Croson study should be, I came in like, where's the Croson study? Where are we at on it? Where are we at on the disparity study? It was voted on in July of 2020, part of the racism as a public health crisis. But when I got there, I found out that, well, even though that was voted on, it had not been implemented and that it wouldn't be implemented. I said, what year will it be implemented? And so here we are now, today and tomorrow, the Croson study. We voted on the money to spend on a Croson study because in government, you can't, have any type of program without showing, even though we already know the numbers, without showing in a way that the government accepts, a way showing that we have a disparity. So there'll be a meeting today at the Urban League. Today and tomorrow. So if you're a small business, minority business, they want to get your input. We've hired a company to do the disparity study. And so that's going to be moving forward today. They meet this morning, but also they got a 6 o'clock. I'm speaking at the 6 o'clock meeting today at the Urban League. So I wanted to make sure. And if we do have an equity and inclusion director, and his name is Robert Bale. That position, he was in that position when I got there. And his number is 946-4428. 946-4428. As you remember, Nathan, when I came, I said, one of the things I'm doing is I want to educate people and connect people to resources at the county. And even though I'm still, learning everything on how the county actually works, it works different than the city, which I've been at. It works different than the state, which I've been at, and it's set up a lot different. And so there are some things that we can do and some things we have to get out of state law because we're governed by the Ohio Revised Code. So a lot of stuff, for example, we don't control our own health department. So there's a lot of things that say Hamilton County that we do not control. We don't control the health department. We work with the health department, but our health department is an arm of the state. It has an independent board. Unlike the city controls the health department and has some say on the board members and has say on the budget. So it's a lot different. There's other things, the libraries. So, they say Hamilton County libraries. We don't control the libraries. We work with the libraries, but if the library wants to put a levy on, they don't have to check with us. Great parks, Hamilton County Great Parks. We don't control Hamilton County Great Parks. They're putting a levy on. We don't have any input on whether they can or can't. Sometimes it's a pass through where we have to vote for it, but we don't have any say on what happens with Hamilton County Great Parks. The probate judge of Hamilton County appoints their board members. So it's really interesting. And those are some of the things. People call me all the time, and I'm so happy that your wife is over at the Community Action Agency in her new capacity as vice president because they really need some help over there. But people thought Hamilton County Community Action Agency. They think, oh, that's the same. No, they have independent board, and a lot of the funding comes from federal government and the state government. When I was at the state, we voted to give money to Hamilton County Community Action Agency for several programs. CDL, we gave money for getting your utility bill paid back in the day. So now we have more money coming from the federal government as it relates to CARES. You remember that. We still have CARES money that we have to spend by the end of the year that was left over, but we also have American Rescue money that has come in. And so American Rescue money came into the county and then also to the city of Cincinnati. And I have to make sure I say that because I represent now 49 municipalities. I represent cities, villages, and townships. But city of Cincinnati is getting the money, we got money. So you decide where you want to spend your money. So the city of Cincinnati, their rental assistance money, they voted, it goes to the Hamilton County Community Action Agency. The state money, as it relates to utility and mortgage and their programs, they voted, it goes to the Hamilton County Community Action Agency. So they have a lot of money that they oversee and a lot of programs. Separate from that, the county got our money, and we put our money with Jobs and Family Services because we oversee them. They work for the county government, so we can make a call because they work for us. And so Jobs and Family Services has our of almost about $60 million we had in rental assistance. We've got food assistance money, and we're getting ready to launch our mortgage program. We're going to do $5 million for mortgage assistance for also utilities. So where we are, and we also put our money towards small businesses, and we put our money, $40 million toward affordable housing, which is being looked into. How do we focus? Is basically sitting in a bucket while they come up with a process on how we're going to deal with affordable housing. Affordable housing. So where we are now, let's go back to rental. Rental assistance, as you know, the moratorium is off, right? And in order to get rental assistance, you have to apply, and the landlord has to be registered. Why does the landlord have to register? Because the check goes directly to the landlord. We're paying 12 months back rent and 3 months rent ahead of time. That's 15 months. It's pretty good, and considering our check will definitely cash. So one of the things we're doing is bringing all of those resources. So when I got there, I said, wait a minute, we got rental assistance, we got small business assistance, we got money if you're running low on your cash, we got assistance for children. We go all of this, and then we got the vaccine. And so one of the things I said, we needed to go bring the resources to the people instead of the people trying to find the resources. And so, as you know, came up with this idea with the help of Joe Mallory from NAACP. We were talking with the governor, and we said, hey, why can't we have a bus? And so that time, that was in February, and we found the Hampton University model that I had found. And I got on a plane, went down there, and it was tough to get because some said, we don't need a bus. We don't need a bus. That was the first thing. So I had to do that, and then had to get the community updated, involved, and many came to our meeting via Zoom. I appreciate it. Many of them was their first time ever being at a Hamilton County meeting. And out of there, we got the bus. Well, you would think it would be easy. No. So then I had to jump through all these other hoops, because now once you get it passed legislatively, your other two colleagues, now you got to deal with the administration, and sometimes they don't make it easy. So, of course, dealing with government, it takes time. You got to procure, you got to do this, you got to do that. And I had a tight deadline. And so we were able to get the bus out in June I wanted it in April. We got a temporary bus that's out there now. We kicked off Juneteenth, and it's been going around. Now, the unique thing about our bus that hasn't been anywhere, I don't think, in the country. Number one, the governor in his statewide address indicated that before we got the bus, that I was right, we need to go mobile. And so it launched a whole mobile movement. So he gave us vans, not just here in Hamilton County, not just in Cincinnati, all over the state. He launched a mobile campaign because of what we had said needed to be done. And he had bands, and those were great. But this bus was different because I'm looking for assets that are not temporary. So when COVID is over, the Delta is over, and I can't wait till that happens, we still have issues in our communities. We still got high blood pressure, and people are dying at higher rates in the African-American communities. We still need access to resources. So this becomes a permanent asset, and it becomes Hamilton County on wheels. And so I said, look, I want to add the economics to the bus. So when the bus pulls up, we've got the Free Store Food Bank mobile unit that we put $1 million toward their efforts. We've got the 513 relief bus that has the vaccine. You can choose which one you want. And we have Jobs and Family Services bringing all of the millions and millions of dollars. Rental assistance, jobs. We've had job fairs with it. We're going to soon have mortgage assistance. So when you pull up, they got the computer. I told them, bring the computer. Don't send nobody home. Get them computers out, and let's help people get stuff done. And what speeds it up is if you can bring your bill with you. And we help with utilities. We even had one time, Nathan, I said, Duke Energy was there with the bill. They had a table. Here's your bill. Here's what you owe. And the table next to it, Jobs and Family Services, give us the bill. Now let's pay your bill. So we're really working on that. We've been to over almost 30 locations. We're continuing to go. We'll be in Bond Hill today. Actually at the library at the community, I think it's the library at the Community Action Agency. They gave me a list, but you can go to 513relief.org, which is another initiative I had. When I got to the county, we had a website you couldn't even access from your smartphone, and you had to go all over the place. And I said, wait a minute, we need one place. And so we came up with 513relief.org. You can apply online. You can get the schedule online, and we just kind of put everything in one place. So I'm really happy about that. Hosted the Relief-a-thon to kick that off. You remember that, where we had 2-hour special, live line with United Way, guaranteed to get a call back in 48 hours, 700 people we were able to help. And we're going to do that again, but we're going to do it live with the bus, with the resources, drive through. So we're working on Relief-a-thon Part 2. So those are some of the things. Of course, the Black Music Walk of Fame. And I just want to thank everyone for that. And just let you know that these things are not easy to do, as you know, and to have something named Black is very difficult. So we were able to get a Black Music Walk of Fame. There was a lot of pressure for me to get rid of the word Black, and I just wouldn't do it. And we had our first kickoff. We got the stars. We've had Bootsy and Otis Williams there, and Dr. Charles Folds' daughter was there. We had a event. I had to go out and raise private money because they said, if you want to use minorities to help put this on, we don't have a Croson study. You got to go raise the money. So at the last second, I was able to raise the money and have people like P.N. Everson Price and just so many people, Nija and, Ebony J, and so many people helped put this on to get an opportunity to put on something inside the new venue called the Andrew Brady Icon. And so we will be opening that next year. I just want to remind people, this is not a program. It's not just an event. We're building an interactive park on the banks, prime real estate, across from NFL Paul Brown Stadium, home of the Cincinnati Music Festival, and connected to the icon that's named after Andrew Brady, who I was told was taught at Western Hills in the 30s. And now bringing African-American artists that we're acknowledging. And so this has to be built. It's an infrastructure project, and we're going to get it open. Our goal, the deadline I've asked them to make, is festival by next year. So it'll be a part of the music festival weekend, where we'll do the ribbon cutting and our next induction and all that. So I just wanted to let people know, because a lot of people think, it's just the event. It's like, no, we're building. This is a development, interactive development that's going to be built on the banks. And to get something like that, it was introduced the idea April 26th, the day after my birthday. So I always remember that day. And to get it past July 1st, and to be talking about now, they're getting ready to get it moving. So those are the kinds of things that we're working also on the stars, the actual stars that we have before they go in the ground. We're looking at unveiling something that's never been done before either, having it at the airport. So there'll be an exhibit at the airport for everyone to see until they go into the ground. So those are a few. I got so much more, but this is my first, I don't know how many months. I've been about 7 months, almost 8 months in office. And, like I said, even with the Black Music Walk of Fame, I'm going to tell y'all this. Some people don't know this, down to the seconds. So there was a lot of back and forth, don't make it black. We said, no, we're going up or down. It has to be Black music because that's the missing link down there. And I want something permanent. I don't want something that can be painted over in a couple years on. I want something when I'm long gone, it's still there and our people can learn about it and be a part of it. And then I had to tie the economic numbers. I said, wait a minute, you've got the music festival that brings in $107 million of economic impact. I said, I want the tax codes. If you want to do that, I want the tax codes, take a percentage of the tax, put it in a fund that can fund projects in the African-American community. And I had done that at the state with tourism. So I understand how to take tax codes and put those tax codes in a different fund. So when I started talking that language, they're like, well, wait a minute, hold on. And then it was even after we had, I had to get my colleagues after we agreed. And remember, I can't talk to my colleagues. We're not allowed to talk to each other. So I have to give a shout out to my chief of staff, Quentin Monroe, who is just 30 years old, and he has to be in these conversations and hold firm. I said, don't bring it back to me. If Black is out, we going all the way, and they're going to have to, everybody's got to vote in front of the people and let them know. But anyway, we're able to work it out. And so we're ready to vote. So we done worked it out. They done showed it on Zoom at our meeting. This is what it's going to say. Here's where it is. It's $9 million for the infrastructure. Remember, because it's extending a garage underneath. So it ain't $9 million just for the Black Music Walk of Fame. And their thought was, let's get the infrastructure done and vote for that. And then we'll get back to the Black Music Walk of Fame down the road. I said, no. It has to be together because I know how it is. We're going to vote at one time. It's going to be all together. It's going to be inside of the overall budget package that you want us to pass. And that's the number one mistake we make. A lot of times there's a main budget. And then when it comes to African Americans, we're on the outside budget. We on the added to budget. No, we got to be in the main budget. We're not a supplement. So anyway, we got that part. We done approved it. The bus is in there. The Black Music Walk of Fame is in there. So the meeting that we're going to pass it, July 1st, first meeting in person. I had never been in person because I hadn't been elected yet. And I had been elected, but we had COVID, right? So this is my first meeting. I'm ready to go. Everybody's packed down there. It's great. I asked my chief of staff, I said, where's the resolution that they showed us yesterday? And they said, I don't know. They hadn't given it to us yet. I said, I need to see that before we, vote. I need to give it to me. So they 12:45, the meeting's at 1. They give me the resolution and I read it. And guess what, Nathan? The front page is the same, but the back page with the money, no Black Music Walk of Fame. No 513 relief bus. And so I marched down that hall and I said, look, where is it? So they, oh my goodness, let us put it back in. Talk about the administration. And I said, I'm not walking in there till it's in the document. So it's those kind of things behind the scenes that we have to deal with. And we're going to deal with them. And I learned that because I used to do that at the State House. So just wanted to let people know where we are with that. The Black Music Walk of Fame scheduled to open next year. July 23rd is the tentative date. So you can put that date down. There's a lot of steps we got to do before we get there. And I'm not talking about who's going to be inducted next. That's the easy part. The hard part is making sure that we get it built, stay on schedule, get the deed turned over from the city to the county, dealing with those kind of things. And that's what we're working on. But if anyone needs rental assistance, they can call 946-7263. 946-7263, and they can ask for Kevin Holt. The other thing I caught is a lot of times we vote on stuff, and you just, as an elected official, you vote on something, it's so hard to get. You like, okay, I done voted on it, it's a victory. But one of the things that I have to do is kind of peel back that onion. And I also asked for data on rental assistance. The last data we had a couple weeks ago, 42% of they had 32% of the applications had been approved. I said, wait a minute, I know the math. That means over 50% were not approved. Where's the zip codes? What's going on? So we saw the zip codes, and majority of people that were passed were from Cheviot, Bridgetown, far west side, right? And majority of people that was not approved were in predominantly African-American communities. And I said, well, hold up, what's the problem here? Well, we found that we were asking for more than what President Joe Biden was asking for, right? The people who gave us the money. I said, well, wait a minute, why are we asking for more than what the federal government guidelines are? So we got that changed. And if there's anyone out there that was declined, we're telling you to come back, call this number 946-7263, reapply, and tell them that you want to apply under the new rules, not the old rules. And so we're starting to see those numbers jump up. So just wanted to let you know. And yes, we're at College Hill Presbyterian Church today in College Hill. We're there today at 4 p.m. 4 p.m. today, but they got the whole schedule on 513relief.org. So anyway, that's that. That's my update, and a lot more to come. Small business money is, we voted for additional $4 million. That will be announced on September 10th, and then kick off the following week. So you want to go on that website and register so that you'll be the first to get an email when the money is released, because that money is going to go pretty quick. I am asking in our new budget that we've got to turn in for next year is to create the county's first ever small business office. We don't have a presence with small business. We just got a presence because of the CARES Act money, but we don't have a real presence that measures, look into what we're doing. And I want us to be number one in the entire state of Ohio. So again, if you want to be a part of the Croson study, I'll be at the Urban League tonight. And I think you can either come or just contact Robert Bell at 946-4428 so he can put you on the list. And let me say, the Croson study is one thing, right? That's the people who can get the 15%. I'm trying to move past 15%. And those are usually I call it the businesses that could do the higher scale. But we got all these other businesses that may not be able to do that in scale, but we can be doing things with them. And we are the only government entity in this area that has an administrator. Our administrators, like our city manager, and his purchasing authority is up to $100,000 without a vote of us, without a bid, right? If you go to the city manager, I think is $50,000. You go to the state chief of staff of the state, there's $50,000. It's a lot of people that can fit into that $100,000 a piece for a contract. So I'm telling them, let's start moving as we're waiting on the Croson. Let's start moving in that direction as well to get, you got the 15%, but what about this other 85% of businesses that can do stuff with us, maybe at a smaller scale? So we are working on that. And as a result, Loop Capital, which is a minority capital firm, for the first time is dealing with our bonds for the county. First time ever. And there's some others. Trying to think, we got some furniture now that's hitting. So we even get a report now on minority businesses that we're trying to chop away that's doing business with us. And they also are hiring more diverse people in positions. Still got a long way to go, but my point is it's on the table now.
Okay. Any updates as it relates to SORTA and CPS?
Oh my goodness. Sorta. So let me explain how sorta is. So when they had the issue 7, as people remember, it number one, it's began to tax countywide, right? The city was doing all the tax if you live in the city. Now it's countywide. And the county got more board appointments, the majority of board members on sorta, because the board runs sorta, not Hamilton County per se. They don't fall up under us. And when I got elected in November, I believe in December, even though they had until January, December, they made the board appointments. I wasn't there. So all the board appointments were made. And I was I'll be honest, I was like, wow, I got elected. Y'all know I'm coming, or maybe that's why y'all know I'm coming. I wanted to be a part of, the appointments, which didn't have to be done until January, which I got sworn in January 2nd. So anyway, the board was already appointed. What I noticed was sorta before CPS came, every time they presented to us, it was now all of a sudden we cutting this, we cutting that. I started getting concerned. I said, wait a minute, you're getting more money, but every time I see you cutting something. And so the last straw for me was CPS. It's no secret. I think I'm pretty sure, I'm maybe the first Cincinnati public school graduate, definitely the first African-American Cincinnati public school graduate on there. So definitely shout out to my school, Withrow. But I rode the bus, to school, the Metro. So I understood. And the reason we had extra in the first place was because back in the day, the kids would go down to Government Square. That was kind of the meat, and they started having fights. So the business community told sorta, hey, we can't have this. And I remember the mayor at that time. And so they all got together and sorta then created what you call extra. So extra would take you from your school basically to your neighborhood and bypass downtown Cincinnati. Now we're getting ready to go back to that old model, which we already saw that model was not successful, and for a number of reasons, right? And so we were blindsided. No one came and talked to us. Nobody presented it. We done had you there for other presentations. You never mentioned. And by the way, the CPS contract is getting ready to end, and we're looking at cutting those services and using our existing services. And at the same time, all I'm seeing is I see all these TV ads and ribbon cuttings, and I'm like, how are we? And I'm a marketer, and this, Nathan. I'm all believing it. I believe in advertising and marketing, but it's got to be authentic. Why are all these people are marketing and advertising, but can't hold the product up, right? You're advertising, but you're cutting services. So what are we advertising? So when I got the information before he came to my committee, I said, man, we got to get sorted in here. This got to stop. And so I wanted to get an understanding of what the power of the board, because we got all these boards, right? And they want people to sit on this board, sit on that board. Most of the time you go on a board, they don't outnumbered you. Sometimes you go on boards, you just window dressing and you don't have no power. So I wanted to know, what is the power of the sort of board? So I got two different answers. I got answer that, well, the board didn't know and they don't really have any power. Then he answered and said, well, now the board, they can reject what we're proposing. And then he went on and on. And I said, well, we need to get an understanding of what the power of the board is. So where we are at this point, the board has more power than, say, we do right now. Because the sales tax was passed. Do we control that? They said no. The board members were appointed, and there's nothing against the board members, because I'm not saying they're not good or anything, because I wasn't a part of that. But I didn't appoint nobody, so I can't. I wasn't there to appoint. It's going to be they have terms, and they're saying they didn't know. So it's like and then there's this whole piece of CPS, who signed it, who approved it. They're saying they didn't know. And so it's just a big mess. And then you get all these articles of saying everything went smooth, everything went great. And I'm getting people from the inside saying, kids being lost and different things. I'm not saying it's totally a wreck, but I'm saying there are issues. So That is a mess. And it's very difficult when you don't have, you know, the power. I try to stay in things that we have the power. I don't have the power right now because I didn't make any of the board appointments. So I can't pick up the phone and say, look, I voted and appointed you. I expect you to at least keep the county informed. But they're saying that they didn't know. So it is a big mess. But one of the things that I wanted to do is to, I said, come in here and I want to ask you to your face. And you got to report to the people who made this decision? Why was this decision made? And I want to express that I'm not happy with the decision. So anyway, that's kind of where we are. I think the board is supposed to be the CPS board. The CPS board is supposed to be, I guess, give us some kind of report. And at the same time, I want to, I'm looking into what is the power of the board, and if we have to make some changes so that our board appointments have a little more power to be able to, because I think they should be notified before you make a decision, not after. I think there should be a public hearing before you've made a decision. I've never heard of that. We made a decision. It's getting ready to be implemented next week, and then we'll take comments from the people. Like, that's totally backwards. So we've got to look at, do we have any authority to make any structural changes, give our board appointments a little more power, have some things in place that there must be a public hearing prior to changes. I don't know if we have that power, but that's what we've asked the administrator to look into.
Well, Alicia, thank you for your time. I appreciate it. You pretty much hit everything. And so again, you're saying like second week of September, look for more news about money for small businesses from Hamilton County.
Yes, it's about $4 million. And we also have navigators. One of the things that we found is that if you're a small business, you don't have a lawyer on staff and you don't have the employees to take off work and navigate all this stuff. So we actually have a navigator program right now that doesn't cost you anything. And they'll look into, they got some paralegals to help and help you look through also from a national perspective, because you're hearing all this stuff from Washington. We got this going, we got that going. You're like, well, where's the money? How do I get it? How do I get into it? You don't have time to be on a computer all day. So you can contact, go to 513relief.org right now, and you can schedule an appointment with one of our navigators, and they can sit down and be like, look, here's what everything you do qualify for, or you don't qualify. Don't worry about looking into this. This is not what it is. So we put money toward that, $1 million for these navigators that's supposed to have expertise, and they can make sure that, one, you're not applying for stuff you can't get, and then two, that help you cut through all of the maze for that. And so that was something that we got out of the relief-a-thon, that people said, hey, this would be helpful for us as a small business. So they'll tell you about our program and other programs. And so I'd love for people to go through there and let me know if that's working. Give me feedback. I appreciate the feedback people have been giving me, so we can make the tweaks. We can make make changes if necessary. But it's all on that 513relief.org. It's a small business section. You hit that button and you'll come on. So we got two things. We got the navigators going right now, right? And you want to get on the list right now. And then in about 2 weeks, you'll hear about the announcement on the 10th. But after that, it'll begin. So that'll be another $4 million for small businesses. And the other thing I was very happy that they're able to do, we brought in the Urban League, because they're doing a lot with small businesses as well. And so now they'll be a part of this $4 million that we're going to be making sure that it gets to the people. So please look at all of those. There's some restaurants. I see some of African-American owned restaurants going out of business, but the federal government put money toward helping keep restaurants open. But this you might be hard to get to it, but you get to this navigator and you say, listen, I want to know, how do I get a piece of that pie? And that's what the navigators are supposed to do. I will get my phone number out as well. My office, I want to give a shout out to my team. We only get 2 people that can work in your office, unlike City Hall. So we got less staff. Each of us get 2 people. And I just want to give a shout out to my team, Quentin Monroe and Edgar Malcolm. If you have an issue, he deals with all the people. Your gas, electric, getting ready to turn off. They didn't do this or do that. He's the guy that's navigating that. And you can contact him at 946-4401. And if it's anything that you didn't catch and you need a number or whatever, you could contact us, 946-4401. And I'm going to start get a newsletter out so I can try to keep this information getting to you as quick as possible. You can also call him and sign up to be on our newsletter. So that's what I'm working on, Nathan. And I get a lot of people that say, hey, you need to take a break and everything. And, you're probably right. But let me say this. When I got in, everybody thought like, hey, just getting there, right, is everything. But when I got in and I saw that COVID didn't go away, here come the Delta variant, we getting ready to make decisions on money. I got to make sure that the resources get to the people. We had to, just basically say we just got to go all in. And so that's what we have been trying to do to make sure that no one's left behind. And so I will be taking a break. I'm going to see my Grambling Tigers this weekend and play up in Canton, and I'm happy to be back with my Grambling folks. And they're coming to Ohio. They hardly ever come to Ohio. Last time they were at Cincinnati when I was vice mayor. I brought them for the Classic, and now they're going to be at the Football Hall of Fame. So I'll be back in my Miss Grambling mode, my basketball mode, and all of the memories that I had and having a good time. But again, you guys, you can contact us. 946-4401. We'll do the best we can. And let me just say, we're just one. It's a lot of other folks, other offices as well that not just at the county, but throughout that you certainly want to be a part of. And I think last thing I want to tell you, gun range. I think people wanted to know what's up with the gun range. There was a resolution passed on the gun range. Certainly, I try to get the gun range out of Lincoln Heights, go all the way back to my days when I was a state representative. But we've never moved this close to having that possibly done. And that's to a lot of the work of Lincoln Heights and so many others. And so the commission voted, and we voted for $5 million. So we got money on the table. But the reason why I'm bringing that up now is that to do that, you got to have city council. You got to have, the city for that. And there's a race that's going on right now. And got, 40 something people running. And, that's something that you guys, if you care about moving that gun range, you might want to put that on the table, because the gun range, even though it's in Evendale, right, that's the property, and it's affecting Lincoln Heights and Evendale and those areas, you got to have the city. And if, the election's coming up, the gun range is not going to move, if this next council doesn't understand it. So you want to probably work with them. I know Councilwoman Jan Michelle Lemon Kearney is working from the city side, but I think that these are some questions that guys should include with the new group that's running, because if that doesn't happen, and these things are tough to do, so they don't move so quickly, it'll probably be that next council that will have some say. And I don't remember seeing any money coming from the city to match what we have. So you might have this council say, yeah, but then a new council come and say, I don't know what you're talking about. So you want to make sure, if that's an important issue to you, that becomes one of the issues that you ask them about. So they don't have to, because you're going to have 6 new people at least. And you don't want them coming on talking, I got to learn, I got to start from kindergarten again. And we getting ready for graduation. We right at the graduation door. We're trying to get our diploma. We're trying to get out of close that down in Lincoln Heights. And then they said, well, now we got to start all over because they got to be educated. We got a new city manager. We got a new mayor. We got a new council. They got to learn. And that's going to take you another couple years. So might want to put that on the table as well. So just wanted to let you know that.
Well, Alicia, thank you for your time. I appreciate it. I really, really do. Thank you for informing the audience, and I wish you the best.
Thank you for having me. Have a good weekend. A good week, everybody.
Absolutely.
Tonight at Urban League.
What time?
6:00 tonight at the Urban League about the disparity. And let me just say, I want to say this real quick because people think, I told the administrator, I said, listen, you get no points for a disparity study. Okay. This is my 5th one since being in elected office. They always got to look at a disparity. We got to show that there's a disparity, and we already know it's there. You only get points when we get past the disparity, which is baseline, to actually getting people contracts. And I think that is important. And coming from a Black-owned business growing up, that is the problem. We look at Black-owned business, small businesses as a program. We don't look at them as you're supposed to be making money, right? That's commerce. That's not the program. So I'm going to really stress that to them, that we want 2 things. Yes, we want the disparity, but we want this $100,000 cap you got. We want to see more contracts now within that $100,000 that our administrator has purchasing authority. So I just wanted to tell y'all that, so y'all don't think that, oh yeah, here we go again, because I'm saying the same thing. Here we go again. I found people had more certifications than contracts, and we were able to change that at the state level, which is very difficult. I worked on that. I said, if we could do it at the state, we can definitely get this done at the county level. So come on out tonight, learn more about it, meet the team, and give us your real input, because I think it's very important. So.
Hey, Alicia, one last question that's kind of interesting. William wants to know, what would it take to bring a classic back to Cincinnati?
Oh my God, William, you know what? I actually, I would love to have a classic back. We had a great one, and these classics are very expensive. So you got to have a partner or somebody that wants to do it, a willing partner. And I even called Grambling 2 years ago, because I wanted to see if we could try to bring it back. And these teams book way out. So yeah, I think it's something we could look into. But our classic, the reason it didn't last is that we had a partner. We had a big sponsor. I think Procter & Gamble was a sponsor. I think Paul Brown Stadium might have partnered in some kind of way. But that's something we certainly should take a look at. We got to be, right now, it would be hard to say, let's do it right now with COVID and all of that, because people are losing money. Canton, theirs is sponsored by the Black College Hall of Fame through the NFL. So it's kind of like the NFL's diversity project, per se. So we need to find a partner that wants to do something like that, and then make sure that it's ongoing. They started it back in Columbus, I believe, this weekend. Kentucky State and Central State was at Ohio State, and I think that was part of a, kind of a diversity piece. But yeah, I would love to do it. Grambling has been booked because I looked at it. They booked Grambling 3 years ago. So when they started this classic 3 years ago, it wasn't the biggest teams. They didn't have a very good turnout. They're hoping this year will be, because it'll be Grambling State and Tennessee State. Eddie George is now the coach of Tennessee State. Of course, Grambling, we got the world famed band. And we got, for the first time since in 50 years, our first female drum major. So we're going to bring the fire. So it kind of like it's coming together, but it takes time. So with us, I think we had like 1 or 2 years, and then we just kind of like gave up. And they had to understand the first year, it's a building process. You're not going to make it right away. So, just trying to find, if somebody want to be a partner or whatever, I'd love to take it to them. But again, just remember, with COVID and everything out here, sometimes it's a little hard to find a new partner or to start something new like this. But I would love to have it here. I thought we did a much better job. John Pace and all the volunteers here, they did, I think, a much better job than some of these other classics that I've seen.
Alicia, thank you for your time. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You too. That's Alicia Reese, everybody. And say what you want about Alicia Reese, but she is a woman that gets it done. She gets ish done, period. You can say what you want to say, but she gets ish done. She should teach a class on getting ish done. That maybe some of these other politicians can pick up on it and make things happen. And I don't know, I guess she just sits around all day thinking about just coming up with ideas that, she can put in motion and then doing it. But listen, before we go too deep in the show, and damn, the show is nearly over, a word from our sponsor. Today's show is brought to you by my friends over at Renew Community Church. They have a brand new series that is designed to inspire you. and help you live your absolute best life. Check this out, then we'll do a little bit of a break, and then we'll come back.
The words for today are to grow a better business. It takes 60 seconds for the universe, through the invisible law of attraction, to be fully activated in your life. God's invisible law of attraction is available to you today because you are just 60 seconds away from growing a better business. Take the next 60 seconds and grow a better business by telling a business story for 60 seconds, 3 times a day for 21 days. Why 21 days? Because that's how long it will take to change your life. Now say this better business story out loud 3 times a day. It is my divine and human right as an entrepreneur to grow and prosper my business so that I can bless others. My business is growing, expanding, increasing in revenue and profits today. For a free ebook, visit renewcommunitychurch.org.
I'm way up on the coke and rum. You stay up, hoping I'll come home. Don't wait up, cause I'm way too gone. Don't wait up, wait up. I'm way up on the coke and rum. You stay up, hoping I'll come home. Don't wait up, cause I'm way too gone. Don't wait up, wait up. Tonight I'm in it for the big fun. This time I'm bringing out the big guns. Bang bang, they wonder can I get some? What I got's for everyone. Yeah, sit down and get to know the sofa. Stand up when shit is taking over. Come here if you was getting sober. What I got's for everyone. Yeah. In the bathroom, in the kitchen, on the balcony is where you'll find me. A galaxy away from my hometown. I'm way up on the coke and rum. You stay up, hoping I'll come home. Don't wait up, cause I'm way too gone. Don't wait up, wait up. I'm way up on the coke and rum. You stay up, hoping I'll come home. Don't wait up, cause I'm way too gone. Don't wait up, wait up. Turn it up, yeah, yeah. Cause this song is such a classic. Turn it up, yeah, 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 yeah. Right now, I don't know what my name is. Blah, blah, oh, mumble when I say shit. Calm down, don't fight me for the next hit. Got enough for everyone. Take a blow, have another one. Take it slow, take it slow. Love interrupted by tragedy. Lost in the drought of nightfall. Running in search of the remedy. Trying to find her place in it all. Focused only on the negative. All she can attract is pain. Perception is what will manifest. Thought she could escape, but it's all the same. Birds fly south for the winter, but she ran to the west side. And though much was stolen, much still abides. And I know she'd rather keep her distance, but as time moves on, she's drifting away. Drifting away from me. But did the ocean breathe?
All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Nate Ivey with you. Just got a chance to speak with Alicia Reese, Hamilton County Commissioner Alicia Reese, and she gave us a full rundown on everything that she's been working on and has accomplished to this point. I thought it was very interesting. Just want to give you a heads up, starting in early September, about $4 million will be available for small businesses here in Hamilton County. And what I thought was interesting, she said navigators. I didn't know they had that. So if you're looking for someone to help you navigate the process to see if you are eligible for some of this money, whether it be money that is in Hamilton County or around the country, then you can go to Hamilton County's commissioner's website and sign up for an appointment to speak with a navigator. I thought, wow, what a great idea. You know what I'm saying? If you own a business, then make sure you do that at the very least, and let them help navigate you to figure out what you may or may not be qualified for. That could be everything for your business here. So again, as much as possible, I want this platform to be a resource for the community. And then, of course, we heard a word from our sponsor, my friends over at Renew Community Church this morning. T Rice, did I miss the show? Well, I mean, kinda. I'm still on, but we've been going until about 9:30 for the last month or so. So kinda, but you can always, of course, the show lives forever on Facebook, or at least until they want to take it down. So that does happen. Greg writes, where did the incident with Antoine having fallen asleep and shot by cops take place? It took place in the DC area. In the DC area, Greg. Antoine Gilmore. I played the video for you earlier. If you missed it, I can play it again for you. And, these videos are hard to watch, obviously. Very hard to watch. And what you see is the 6 officers outside the car, and Antoine was asleep inside. They roll up on him or pull up on him, walk up on him, and he's asleep. And you can tell that they were afraid. They didn't know if he had a weapon or whatever. And I thought it was just so interesting that a black man that's asleep is more of a threat than a white man in a pickup truck claiming to have a pipe bomb. Now, I know there might be some differences in the circumstances and things like that. I'm fully aware of it, but those are the facts. Those are the facts. And if you want to see that video, hold on, I'll play it for you again. It's really short. Is it graphic? I mean, kinda. Check this out.
He ain't waking up. Don't move! Don't move! Don't move! Watch your hands! Watch your hands!
So I don't understand why they even open fire on this brother at all. You're waking him up, you're startling him awake. People jump. Hell, I mean, shit, about 2 months ago, a month ago, I walked in there to wake my son. No. I walked in to take him to sleep, right? Say our little prayers. He already sleep, but as a parent, we all do this. I got to bless my boy anyway. So I put my hands on him because I'm a tactile daddy. I'm a touchy-feely kind of person with my children. And I touch him, and he jumps up with a look on his face. That anybody's gonna do that. Let alone, like, I've fallen asleep in the car before. I was younger, that damn Boone's Farm and all that shit. And you don't want to be on 75 or 71. So me and my partner at the time, my best friend, we pulled over on the side of the interstate highway. We just fell asleep because that's dangerous. But we thought driving and drinking and driving was more dangerous. So we pulled to the side and just fell asleep. You know what I'm saying? That's it. And when you fall asleep in your car like that, when you wake up, like, wait a minute, this ain't the safest place to be in. Let alone you got people with guns drawn yelling at you. You don't know who they are. They might say police, but you don't know. You don't really know. And it takes you a couple minutes to get back to the world, so to speak. But they opened fire on this brother, and he was hit by 10 shots. Meanwhile, Floyd Ray Roseberry, he in a pickup truck, shut down traffic for hours, standoff and everything. He's peacefully now resting in police custody. Yeah. Who shoots someone sleep that they wake up ridiculous, no excuse, right? I thought it was no excuse, but that's just me. But that's what happened, Greg, just to catch you up on everything. Good morning. What's up, TC? What's up, Lemmy? She says prayers for all the people in the path of Hurricane Ida. Absolutely. Brent, get to the bag. Frenay writes, Bama State alumni. Yeah, that's one thing, man, about Alicia Reese. Say what you want to say, but I don't think anybody can disagree when I say with a statement about her that she is a get-ish dunner. You get some politicians and they cool, but they just kind of sit there and they don't really do anything. That's not Alicia Reese. That's not Alicia Reese, in my opinion. Um, like I said, some politicians, you forget they ain't even in office. They so quiet. It's not that they're doing anything bad. They just ain't out there super proactive. And it's hard to tell. You never know what somebody's going to be like in public office until they actually get in public office. You're going to ask them all the questions and all this kind of stuff. Now, a one way to look at it is what they've already done. Like looking at what they've already done before they decide to run for office, because a good predictor of the future is the past. So, but again, you don't know. Like we getting ready to have all these forums and stuff, and everybody's gonna say the right thing. Everybody's gonna say the right thing. Everybody's gonna be proactive. Everybody's gonna be a superhero for the people. Everybody's gonna do this. Everybody's gonna do that. But until they get in office, we don't really know. And that's the truth of it, which is scary. TNT writes, I would love to see her as governor. I love to see her as governor with a state legislature that is amenable, that's workable. Right now, a Democrat, I don't know what that. I don't know what to be. I think she'd be way better than the current governor. Way better, absolutely a billion times better. But we the people got to work on the state legislature and break that gridlock, or that vice grip, not gridlock, that vice grip that the Republicans have here in the state of Ohio. So he writes senator. I can see that. I can see that. I can see that. I'll be down with all of that. All right. Listen, folks, I really appreciate you. It means everything. Again, before we roll out, another word from our sponsor. Again, today's show is brought to you by my good friend. Ho. Today's show is wait. Hold on. Before we do that, we got calls on the line. Hold on. We got calls on the line. We got people calling in. Hold on. We got John. Hold on, John. Call me right back, John. I thought we had him on the line. Let's go to the phones here. Yeah. We got Brother Forte. What's up, Brother Forte? Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Nate and the Choppers.
Good
Hey,
morning to you.
listen, let me hit you on two topics real fast.
All right.
When all the officers showed up at Hughes, you got to look at it two ways. One, we understand now that it was some kind of emergency and the officer couldn't answer his radio because of all the drama. Two, it's better to have more officers than you need than not enough. Because we'd have a whole nother scenario if we had 2 or 3 cars show up and they got overwhelmed. But I understand the image of what you're saying with all the cruisers parked out there. Mm-hmm. But you think about how big that facility is, and if you got multiple things going on in that building, 3, 4 might not be able to handle it. Okay, so I'm just going to say that on the comment about I'd rather have too many than not enough, although I get the image.
Mm-hmm. And why would you rather have too many than why enough again? Than not enough, Forte?
I would rather have more officers than I need than not enough officers to handle the situation.
Because the officers
might get overwhelmed. Because if you have fights going on all over the place, and then, I started helping my brother, I started helping the person from my neighborhood, it can really blow up. So, I get it. I've been there before. If I didn't answer my radio, they was going to send everybody. Because it was rare that I would not answer my radio. So, you get to know your officers, and all of a sudden you calling this guy, he or she's not answering. So you hit what we call a tone. The tone means officer needs assistance. At that point, everybody in the area is coming. Once it gets under control, obviously, then they need to start getting up out of there and going back to doing their routine jobs. So that's what I'm saying on that one.
Got it.
Now, as far as the young brother getting killed in D.C., I got to agree with everything you're saying. We laid this guy with a potential bomb. They spent hours talking him down, negotiating with him, being disrespected. And now he's comfortably probably going to wind up in a mental hospital, right? They're going to make him crazy. So tactics is you roll up on that car in the dark. You realize there's somebody in the car asleep. You put a cruiser in front of this car and you put a cruiser behind this car. You take cover and you turn the loudspeakers and the lights on till you get his attention. He'd still be alive right now. But no, we want to be bullies. They're going to beat in his window, and I got to agree with you. You startle a man out of his sleep. He rises up. All he sees is dark suits all around him. He takes off. Nobody was in front of the car, so I agree with you. Who's in danger? But the real issue is if you just simply put a cruiser in front of his car and a cruiser behind it, he's boxed in, and even if he wanted to flee, worst thing happened, he'd bump a couple cars. Do you agree with that?
Right.
Okay. I told you in Cincinnati we couldn't have did that. But every city and every state have their own policies. Right? We had to learn a long time ago. Don't stand in front of a car or behind a car. So we have policies and procedures to deal with that in this city. So your policies come down from the state, and local can do things, but they can't go below the state minimum. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I would venture to say in our city, we have more rules because we look at mistakes and we say we can't make that mistake again. We see mistakes all over this country and we say, hey, we need to prepare. If we got to deal with that, how are we going to deal with it? So I just think it's a shame, man. This guy's dead. And this spirit for my life crap, I don't want to hear that. All I got to say is I stick to this story. Man, listen, this has happened many times in this country. We're in the media time now. It was a female in California years ago. She was asleep in the parking lot, but she did have a gun on her lap. These idiots in San Diego or whatever city it was, they started beating on the window with a stick. She jumped up with her hand on the gun and they killed her. So, like I said, man, these things, believe me, we just got more media attention in the last few years than we ever had. So it's bad, brother, but I agree with you. What's the hurry? What's the urgency here? It's pitch black out there. They know he's asleep. They say he's asleep. Then they start banging on the freaking window. I don't even think they found the ink pen in his car. But they're going to say the car was a weapon. He lunged forward. So, it is what it is, man. I don't know what to say. It's just terrible. And I got a new joke now. For God's sake, don't fail the signal in America if you're black. If your blinkers go out, remember the old hand signals. Remember the one they taught us?
Yeah, out the window.
Yeah. I teach all the CCW students that. I'm like, for God's sake, do not fail to signal in America, especially if you're black. Because we getting people killed for fail to signal. We getting them shot. We getting them snatched out of cars and beaten. I can't answer it, brother. I can't answer it. Like I said, I'm going to hold everybody to the standard that I was held to. You're going to make a mistake on the wrong person's child. And all these things set in place to say you fear for your life is not going to matter. And that's a shame. That's an Old Testament testimony coming out of my mouth right now. So, hey, man, keep up the good work with the show. Sister Reese, I got to hear her. I'm in between assignments now. And she's really doing her best, man, to bring some equity to the black community because we've never seen nothing like this before with all the funds that go through these counties. And nothing was really touching the minority community until we got her in there going, steamboat on their behind, demanding that we get some of that equity out of these things. So, and she get much love from me on that one.
Absolutely. All right, Brother Forte, have a great day, man.
All right, you too.
Most deaf. That's Brother Forte. Interesting insight there. I appreciate it. With that, I got to make a move. I thought we...
Yeah. Talking to my mirror like I love you so much. Curving on my critics like I heard you, so what? You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. Tally all the I ever gave on my head. Lately I've been living like I can't take a loss. They ain't wanna help me, that's what made me a boss. You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. We don't give a that's what they don't understand.
Back again like flu season, I broke records while loose leafing. I'm coming down my roof, leaving, don't give a I don't care. Did the by my lonesome, no wonder now I'm on one. No shortcuts on that long run, all I really want is my share. Get him, I got him, I told him it's nothing.